Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? What a day. It's been a heck of a day, and it says that it's setting up, and which means is that, Trina, we've got about looks like they're giving us a 30, no, maybe even a minute delay on this, which
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. AI is all over this shit. But good morning, everyone. I see now that we are live and we do have Trina back, and so I'm happy to see that. Let me
Me
just speak favor over all of us real quick. Get that out. Nothing missing, nothing broken. As we like to say, we believe in good mental and spiritual health, so be kind to your mind and your soul. Welcome everybody in the chat room. I know it's been a little quiet there. I've given y'all the good music there, but that's cool.
too.
That's worrisome. Just my dog and I and the power of. There we go. Yeah. Jesus, get behind me. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a fun discussion. So, Trina, it's been almost a month since we've last got together. The
Yeah.
world has changed. It's changing rapidly every day.
Can
And
you imagine how much has happened in 30 days? It's been profound.
yeah, and
Profound.
30 days doesn't feel like 30 days anymore. It doesn't. It feels like a week. I just got to tell you,
Yeah.
it just it's weird. But um, everyone in the chat room, Gaia, how are you, Gaia? What
Yeah.
does it say, my dear? Superpower. I think that's cool. Here, oh, heavens. Oh, Lost in Space. Mary wins. Love to you, darling. Pamela Jean, Lost in Space. Diana, good to see you. And Deborah, Sloan, how are you? And everybody else. So, Trina, tell us what you've been up to. You've been busily working. I hope you're making good money.
Yep, yep.
I mean,
And
if you're
it's
going to
just
be
been, yeah.
working, you might as well make it profitable, right?
I wouldn't do it if it wasn't. So.
Like, no, I'm doing this for my health.
No, if you
Uh,
can't pay the bills, what is the point? For real.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're part of the country, I guess. I always think of the desert Southwest as always being the desert, but we know it does get cold. But y'all been like freaking hot. Well, in fact, the whole North America has been really hot.
Yeah, it's been incredibly. I think we're in for it this summer.
And I'll just say for the record, and all the AI bots and the U2 sensors and what have you, listen, this climate change, they just proved that the UN, the whole climate change was a hoax. It was just the whole idea to getting carbon credits. But now they're afraid because the reality is that this magnetic pole shift that is leading up to, depending on who and what you believe, the catastrophe.
Mhm. Mhm.
Our weather is going to get more extreme, more wild as these poles begin. I think now the North Pole is very close to Russia. We know the South Pole
Yeah.
is now somewhere in the Indian Ocean. And if you go and check me out on this, go over there and look at Ben's research. Now we've got this tripole. Actually, I think we got a dipole going on. That there's this
Mhm.
magnetic anomaly right there off the coast of Brazil in the South Atlantic. So that's just my opinion. I think it's going to get wild. I think, in fact, I'll make a prediction. I believe we'll see snow in North America in summertime.
You
I
that
believe it's just going to be that extreme.
yeah, I have no doubt. I think you're right. I really
Yeah.
do. We're seeing stuff we've never seen before. And it's really frustrating with all the weather modification. I mean, what are they're failing ultimately. I mean, my God, it's worse than it's ever been. It's like, y'all haven't figured this out yet? Come on.
You go, if I go outside right now this morning, they started, they're doing it at night, which
I
really
know.
pisses me off.
Me
Uh,
too. I wake up and I'm like, oh my
yeah, it's
goodness.
like, what the freak? And right now,
Unbelievable.
here in Missouri, and there's many of y'all that live around here, I filmed them. We've all seen them. The skies now are turning this milky, white,
Gray.
milky gray. Yeah. And so, and I often wonder, all right, we've, you know, YouTube censors this, they used to. They can't anymore because the American government has admitted, yeah, they're doing an aerosol campaign. And what is this for? We have our
They wrote
ideas.
papers about it. It's public
It
information.
is. It really
I
is.
mean,
You know,
unfortunately, I mean, it's all there. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I'm like, well, okay. Does it make sense? They're going to censor the stuff you guys wrote?
it's like,
I mean,
geez.
I
Well,
don't
here
get
I'll
it.
throw one out.
I try to wrap my brain around it. I'm like, I know you really don't want people to understand, but you know, you shouldn't have wrote it and put it in public. It's open. You can find it everywhere,
Yeah.
and they're proud about their accomplishments. You
How
know.
about this? This is before we came live. So the UN representative of human rights has just been arrested for slavery. Of course, we love the UN.
Oh
Not
my
listen.
God.
That building should be it should be brought down to the ground and salted, and never allow another thing ever to be built upon it. But that's just me. Which brings us into our next subject about you and I were talking just prior to this, and it was a good debate because we were really getting into this. And I want all of y'all to get in this. Hello, Nina, because according to I don't know. I guess the spiritual people of the world, certain religious beliefs believe that humanity is under attack, that the gates of hell have been thrown wide open, that we now have people sitting in the Congress, that is also in the United States Senate. We have U.S. judges. We have CEOs that are demon possessed. In fact, we have individuals, according to what the church is saying, these
Mhm.
individuals have opened themselves up to these demonic beings in order to gain more power, more influence, which is crazy to me. I mean, how much power can you use? But yeah, so apparently we got demon possessed Congress people, we got demon possessed senators, we got demon possessed judges, we got, I don't know, maybe the guy in the White House is demon possessed. I don't know. I know Paula White, I guess if Trump was being possessed, I guess she would do an exorcism. But my point to all this, Trina, is that the Vatican just finished. This group that met last week is begging this new Pope Leo to bring reinforcements in. They said, start training the priest. You got to start putting them through a boot camp, demon
They are. They're actually
exorcism.
doing it. They're starting the deliverance ministries and
Now, see, I was a
expanding
part of
them.
the deliverance ministry in my
Yeah,
days. That was back in the 70s and 80s, and we would go on
Wayne,
the
it's
street
coming
and cast
back.
them out.
It's coming out with big force right now because there is such a strong demand for this service. I mean, it is getting off the
So
hook.
is it true that and this is the question, and everyone in the chat room, thanks, Code, love it. Listen, I try to get the music that brings in the right vibration, but so for everybody here, and Trina, and I hope like Jenny will join us, but do you really think that we have entered a time that where unseen, invisible forces, energies of a negative value are attacking us, humans, and that humans are cooperating with them?
100% yes. I think there's way too much evidence to support that.
Interesting. Because you and I were talking the fact that yesterday, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to Lucky Stone. Love you, brother. Read his comment from yesterday. Go over there in the comment section. And what I like about Lucky's is a philosopher.
Mhm.
He's as much a philosopher as I am, as you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has an extensive knowledge and background in biblical, like I do with myself and Trina. And so, but read his comments. It's very interesting because when I was in Bible school, Lester Summerall was one of the teachers that I studied under. I studied demonology under Lester Summerall and Hilton Sutton. And it's so interesting because what they predicted or said I think we're witnessing now. apparently at the time of Christ, when he came into the world, there was an opening that was this rift.
Mhm.
Because the rift works both ways. If you want to bring good in, bad's going to be right there.
Yeah.
And it is said that at that period of time, that humanity was under this spiritual attack by these beings that can literally take possession of your mind, your emotions, your body. Um, they say that we're in that time and it's even worse now. I mean, does the Vatican
Well,
have something on this or do they know something we don't?
well, I think it's coming from two different ways. We have the technology that's going to be able to control the mind, and then
Okay,
we
can we
also
stop
have
right there? Do you think the technology has been taken over by another force or another entity? Many people
what
think that the
what
internet
if what if the technology is the
is.
is the fall, is how we got into matter, is how the
What if
reptilians.
AI is the Antichrist? What
Right.
if
I want.
AI is the king of demons, the king of all spirit? What is? And how could you disprove us on that?
Right. Like I said, I contemplate that a lot as a very strong potential. I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I don't know. I really do think that really, when you look about like the whole fall and what happened was we went into a different body and a different consciousness. And everybody knows, the Anunnaki and all that stuff. They were tinkering with our DNA. It's been proven now they installed a worship gene in us.
That's interesting. And if you add, I just read this physicist, she wrote a paper, she was there in 2008. She says that when they turned on the Large Hadron Collider, um, that we left the time that we were in and that something else entered in, or we entered into its domain, however you say, but it's not the
Yeah.
same.
I think that did happen. I felt it, and I felt it feels like they're creating a replica Earth and then making us jump.
Mm.
So that's what it feels like to me. And I've thought about this for a while, and it feels like they're doing some crazy experiments and opening portals. And I think if
Yes.
things are opening through those portals, they're knowing how to make us jump to get away from what they just opened.
And
And
I think these data centers are a part of that plan.
it's a part of the brain.
It is the part of the brain that's being built,
Yeah,
or you want to
it's
call it
another
whatever.
lobe of the brain. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about this because this is deep. So if we have members of Congress in the United States Congress, if you have parliamentary members in the EU, if you have people in Russia and China that are demon possessed or possessed of another entity of a source, then that tells me that this is a hostile force. It tells me that it's intelligent, it's organizing, and part of its plan is to push chaos. Because when humans get into chaos, they get angry, they get short-tempered, they begin to lose cognitive rational thought. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think on that theory? That this is not just in the United States, but this is happening in virtually every country in the world.
We've heard the phrase for 100 years, order out of chaos.
Yes, doesn't. Well, in fact, isn't that what it says of this God and, whichever one you
Correct.
believe in the Bible? Yeah. That it brought order from chaos. All right. So my mind now thinks, okay, in order to bring order into chaos, that typically is violent, it's heavy-handed, it's iron fist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Bringing
I.
forth Saturn,
Yeah, yeah.
energy of Saturn. And because the government, rulership, organization, structure, control, power. Saturn.
And it's so interesting. I'm going to continue with the malice, but the church teaches, which blew me away. The church teaches what back then in the 1500s, 1427, that the stars rule the spirits. And I
What
thought
if
that
the
was so
stars,
odd.
what if the stars are the spirits?
True.
What if that is your higher self, original self? You're a fractal of that. What if that there's a point in our firmament above you that is literally your pinpoint of light streaming into this reality for you to create your avatar and have the experience?
Well, when Patrick was with us and we did Talking
Mhm,
with the Planets,
mhm.
that taught me, Lynn was and I were talking, and she says, "Well, how many mistakes do you think you've made since you've started this new journey?" And I said, "Many." And she says, "But any ones?" I said, "Well, the first thing I learned was with Patrick was being open-minded enough to accept the fact that a planet could be a living entity, an actual
Absolutely.
spirit being."
Yeah, and they are. They are. And when you realize that they're in your body, wow, game changer.
Well, and that was Carl Sagan's argument, is that we are the stars. I mean,
And the
within us
planets
is,
and the solar system
yeah,
and the universe, the one verse you're experiencing right now with this part of yourself.
hmm
And the universe is pretty big. So
yeah.
you're expanded throughout
That's
that
what they keep
universe.
telling us, and
Yeah.
as I was saying yesterday's show, and I went into deep meditation on this, and I'm thinking, this universe is vast. So is Earth representative of what's taking place out there? Are we unique?
Uh-uh.
And that was the
Wayne,
question.
it's interesting you just said that. I've been thinking about this so intensely for the past few days. I was like, okay, so if the universe is inside of you, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and we are literally projecting the reality outside of us. We're projecting the reality. The reality is coming from within us.
And that's why I think they need to control our imagination, because I believe when the imagination
Bingo
is the elixir that, yeah,
creates the reality.
yeah, yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why they give us the television. They tell you the vision, and then you reproduce the reality. It
hmm
is so brilliant.
And
But
because
it's
that's what
all
religion is, control.
control the vision.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
um,
absolutely mandatory.
and so just to finish out the thing, she said, "So what was the other thing?" And I said, when I first started really understanding opening portals, I drew one out in our garage. I remember when she came home, she said, "What is this?" And I was telling her last night, I said, "It's really odd because it wasn't me that was doing this." So this gets us just the whole idea that our minds can be influenced. Because I drew, got the pictures, go back and look in the archives. But I said, I opened a portal that I never closed.
Oh,
And we, was wondering about the people who have moved in. They're seeing weird shit. And I said, because she was telling me that she said there were so many orbs in their house there in Highlands Ranch, and we actually saw spirit beings moving. And I said, I never closed that portal. And
yep,
that was a powerful one. If you remember, I was drawing these sigils that I had
yep.
no idea, and then putting associated crystals to each one of the sigils within the cardinal points of the double circle.
You can still close the portal.
Well, that's what I've been studying, and there's yeah. So anyway, but strange things. So getting back to this is where I wanted to bring in the debate. So are demons real? If, as I tried to show yesterday, we don't have firm evidence of where they come from. Some say it was the Nephilim because of the fallen angels, the Raphaim that brought these about. Um, One of my favorite books in the Bible has always been the book of Mark, because in there, the Jesus dude, he really, if you study it, it's one of the deepest occult books. Well, there's several in the Bible, but that one's really deep because it tells us
Mhm.
about these beings, and they're here by the billions.
Hmm.
They may be here by the trillions.
Hmm.
So are they
They'll
real?
tell you, for whatever reason, they all fear a human that knows how to stand in its fullness.
True. And it's
Mhm.
interesting, the wizard Paul in Ephesians 6:12, he told us exactly that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with what? With principality,
Powers and
dominions,
principalities.
powers, and
Yeah.
high heavenly places.
And what are those all names of? Angels.
And are angels not demons?
They could be because they're being controlled and told to do something demonic.
Shimzaja, who is supposedly buried in the abandoned, the pit. So
Yeah.
Shimzaja, who was one of the leaders of the rebellion,
Hmm.
when he came down, according into the book of Enoch, his accusation against God was that God was corrupt.
Hmm.
And that if God was corrupt, then, basically it was like, well, everything is corrupt.
Hmm.
And the one pure thing that was in the universe was us.
Hmm.
And so then we become corrupted to it. But my point
Hmm.
is that this angel, Shemzaza, um, he's considered now a demon.
Hmm.
So, and here's my point. I've never had maybe I don't know. I've never been physically harmed by a spirit that I know of. I've been spiritually attacked, mentally attacked, but you have an experience of where you were physically attacked, right?
More than once.
More than once. And I have been saying this, and I'm so glad, Trina, I've missed you so much. About these. I'm doing this research and I'm compiling all these references. And it's been going on for thousands of years of mortal women being raped by spiritual entities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this leads into a whole lot of other things. So what's going on? It makes me almost feel like what it says that Jesus was the great shepherd, right? Where every shepherd's job is to get the sheep to the slaughter.
Hmm.
I mean, that is the job of the shepherd, you know.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
have we always been prey to these beings that we call demons? Some call angels. Maybe there's a division. I don't know.
I think absolutely when you come into this human body that they've tinkered with and created to be a slave,
Hmm.
100%, the chances are you're not going to wake up through that. For us
The
to be where we are with our consciousness, to wake up to see these potentials, I don't think humanity's ever reached this level in these numbers ever before. Ever.
I would
Ever.
say with our species, I would agree with you on that
Yeah.
because the capacity of what each of us. So the story of the demonic at the Necropolis, those were the 10 cities there in Judea. And it said that this demonic, he would walk the tombs, he would cut himself, he could do things, levitate, he could just do some really weird shit. So Jesus comes along and, talks to the head demon. And it's really weird. My headphone is cutting out, and it's just weird when I'm saying this. I sense a presence. Um, and the representative of this collective said, "We are Legion."
Hmm.
And and basically it said, "Have you come to torment us before our time?"
Yeah.
And because it says that when you cast a demon out, it goes to the waterless place. Well, there's only one waterless place around the planet. That's the moon.
Hmm.
And certain theologians believe that the kingdom of the demons is really the moon. It is a place without, and I can get
Well,
into
its
deeper,
original name was sin, and it
which was
said you
in
were
Nana.
right, and it says you were born into sin.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're like, well, how could a baby be born into sin?
Into
Well,
sin. Yeah.
this is why, yeah, you were
Yeah.
born into sin. It was because of the vessel that
It's
you
not,
are
yeah, it's not
inhabiting.
your holiness, and that has nothing to do with it.
Right. It's the body, the
Yeah.
flesh. Yeah,
So
it's
within
literally
this,
they tinkered with it and turned it into some kind of crazy slave operation system thing. Yeah.
so we can, in the story, if you believe the story, whether it be a myth, whether it be an allegory to
Right.
Vespasian's conquest, who knows? But
All imagination.
let's just go with the story because I love the story. It's drama. It's got all the elements for, a compelling, like what will happen. So a legion is anywhere from I think 8 to 12,000, depending on which version. Let's just say 12,000. So that
Right.
means there were 12,000 spirits, demons,
Yeah.
inside this one vessel.
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
know about you, but all right. So can a demon possess a demon? It seems like they
I
can't. It
think
seems
they
like
can. And I also
that's an
know
interesting
they
theory.
can consume each other. So
Hmm.
when
Well,
when the more powerful ones get pissed off at the younger ones beneath them, or
so who's giving them
lesser,
birth though?
I think what's given them birth is us humans.
So are we the ones that all right, because I'm not doing this purposely. I like how the energy is flowing because what you just said gives me a hypothesis of what I've been collecting, seeing the sexual assaults at night of people by unseen entities.
Wayne, if we truly
What
are
the
the
fuck? What if we
children,
are in fact they are impregnating these mortal women with a spiritual being? Holy shit. I mean,
what if the power of what you truly are as a child of creation or a child of God, the true source creative force that operates all existence, if you are a true fractal or piece or part of that, that means that all things come through you.
yeah, and
All things.
I'm just going a little deeper
Yeah.
here because if you have the incubus, so
Yes.
the incubus is the one that attacks women. The succubus is the one that attacks men. The
Yeah.
succubus's purpose is to extract semen, and I believe that semen can be also represented in a spiritual substance, and they bring that semen back to Lilith if you go by the story. Her daughters are the ones that are doing this. Her sons are the ones that are going out into the females. I had never thought about this. What if we are, in fact, the ones? I have never read anything in any theology, any. This is wild, Trina. This is opening up some ideas that we're the ones giving birth to these beings.
We give birth
And
to
we've
the
been
human
doing it
vessels
for
that they can get
thousands of
into.
years.
Yeah, because we are the vessels that they take on to get into the physical realm as they go into humans. There's no demon behavior without possession. You have different kinds of
Mm.
levels of it, the incubus, but they're still infiltrating, trying to get into or hurt a human. It's always about us.
Oh, I think they are doing it. And I don't
Yeah,
find that
oh
there's
yeah,
very
for
little
sure.
resistance. The thing
Yeah.
about you go back to the book of Mark, and then folks, I'm going to make reference because I know it.
Mhm.
I have almost an identical memory. I can read it to you verse by verse, but the point is, um, wow, when he would enter a town or a village, you know
Mhm.
what the first thing the Jesus dude did?
What?
Wasn't heal, wasn't feed, he cast out the demons,
Yeah.
which implies
Yeah.
that virtually every human is infected with what we would call demonic beings. They attach themselves to us right
Oh
from
my God.
birth.
Yeah. I think the biggest transfer of demonic behavior I've ever seen is through sex. So You want to pick up a whole new
The
list of
the
demonic,
act of the
go have
sex.
sex with somebody because you're going to get all their demons, and God help them if you've
Oh,
got strong ones, they're going to get yours. So, have fun. But yeah, that's the biggest exchange. And that's why you've got the incubus and the succubus.
well,
These are
again, how did
deep.
the angels, these 200 angels, Lynn and I were talking about this last night. How did they have genitalia? In this case, male genitalia. How did that work? And then they copulated with humans, females.
Mhm,
Um, there was an injection of semen of some sort,
mhm,
of some
mhm,
kind of substance
mhm,
that was able to enter into the ovaries that fertilized the egg.
mhm.
Now, that gets into some alien shit in my mind because
That's where I was going.
thank you. See, we
Yeah.
were walking hand by hand. Oh,
Yeah, okay. That sounds like genetic tinkering to me,
yeah,
and in
yeah,
vitro fertilizations and all
yeah,
kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I go with that in my mind because it just makes the most sense.
yeah, yeah. There is a lot to that, and it's
Mhm.
been right there. The thing that is so odd is that we've had those in power who have they've done everything they could to hide this. Because it's very uncouth to be talking about God and sex, but actually God and sex go hand in hand. You
It's how
know,
we create. It's how we
so
create life. I mean,
and
there is
and
no
if
life
God
without sex in a
and God
physical.
says that we're His children. Well,
Yeah,
God, where the fuck is Mama? Because you took her out of the scene. Excuse
he
me for
didn't.
using
He
the F
didn't.
bomb.
He didn't. We did.
You know,
Our
it's
religions,
often
our
said
belief
that
systems,
that
our
our memory were
indoctrination.
wiped in that.
Well, correct. That's what I'm telling you. We did.
Yeah.
We forgot. It's not God. It's we forgot.
Yeah, and
We
again,
did.
it's which God? I mean, but it gets back to this fact that there is this phenomenon. Now, you were talking, I don't know if you want to bring that out in the whole story, but it was very interesting that you were physically attacked by another human being who was possessed
Yeah.
of another consciousness.
Yeah. And people don't realize they see this all the time and they don't even recognize it.
Yeah, it's true.
Watch the shift in somebody's eyes when they're completely intoxicated. There is something else that enters in.
Well, that's
I
why
have
they call it
seen it.
spirits.
You got it. I have seen it 100,000 times, that shift. Phew. I'm like, oh, now I'm dealing with you. Great. And for whatever reason, some humans, and I'm one of them, we will irritate and challenge those spirits because we identify them immediately and they don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't like that at all. So, yeah, they know when they've got a good challenge, and they also know if they can defeat you, how sweet your nectar is, because they get 10 for 1 with you because your light is strong and bright. So, this battle has been going on with me since I was 3 years old.
Yeah, it's interesting as you look back on humanity, what has humanity always done? It's always fermented the that which of nature supplied, and that's true alchemy when you do this distillation process that you're actually bringing in the ether
And you're
into
drinking death,
physical.
and you're drinking death to do it. It's a fermentated, it's so crazy.
And that's why they call it. And it's interesting. Back in my day, I was actually was worked part as an owner of a bar, and I can look back now and certain types of alcohol. You got clear alcohol and you have colored alcohol, will affect people differently.
Hmm.
For instance, people who drink
Hmm.
beer, um,
Hmm.
they have a certain demeanor, and it's always interesting because I've seen, particularly with whiskey, that it
Yeah.
brings violence.
You know what,
It,
Wayne? It's interesting, because there is a strong correlation now. You know how they've been dropping some of the information about how they do magic over the music.
Hmm.
And they do sigils and ceremonies to have certain invocations of certain specific demonic forces to get into that music. Well, now we're understanding the same is done with every commercial logo. So every alcohol brand has its own assigned demonic entity over it.
And
And that
I
was
just want to
done
be said, I
with
don't think it's demons. I think these are spirits. I think that we're the ones that call them demons or angels because I have
no, they
never
are just
read.
spirits.
Well,
Absolutely.
in my case, if I
Yeah.
was to present to the chat room as the jury, my case is this. The only evil I have ever read is what God has done, is what his angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, they are the murderers. They're the ones that have drawn human blood. I cannot find anywhere, not in the canonical nor in the pseudo-apocrypha, ever Satan, Lucifer, or a demon demanding a human to harm the hair of another human. I cannot find any evidence. So when I keep hearing that it's the demons, I'm in my mind going, but wait a minute. You can't show me that they're evil. You can't show me where they've harmed. I can show you where it's written that God's angels slew humans, slew babies. He's the one who slew them in their mother's womb. Lucifer never did that. There's nothing written about. Satan has never done that. The devil has never done that. So anyway, it makes me think that maybe it's not that it's not real, but maybe it's not who we think it is.
Well, who do you think it is?
I think it's this God. This is a blood God. It's a God that works in blood. And when I look in the spiritual aspect of it, blood in this religion is key.
The
Now,
life
what's
is
real
in the blood.
interesting, yeah, and what had happened, the Satanist Christians, because that's all Satanists are, they're Christians just of another flock. They want to incorporate the blood into their rituals because they're mimicking that which they were a part of. And the thing about which I find so strange that in all of the grimoires I have and all the like you and I, our bookshelves are full.
Mhm.
I cannot find where the leader, the head of the demons, ever put a curse on humans, ever commanded another human to kill another human. And
Oh
this
my
is the
God.
first thing this God did. The massacre that took place with the movement of Judaism, or what we would call Hebrews, back in that time, was nothing more than a story of a massacre. It was a genocide, all
Mhm.
in the name of God, all in the name of righteousness, in love.
We're still doing it right now.
Well, and aren't we? So, sweetie, what I'm trying to say was that maybe it's not the demons. Maybe it's these angels that have masqueraded themselves as the demons.
What if that's the difference of an angel is it went from a demon or a daemon is just their mindset.
Ooh,
Either they're
that's a
going,
good point.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just one's choosing
Daemon
one set of,
demon.
yes, one is a feeder and one is a giver.
Yeah.
There's it's so simple. It's just a split of the consciousness. We have that within us as our duality. Why
Hmm.
wouldn't they have it within them as their duality? Everything here is dual,
It
but
is, isn't it?
you either,
Yeah.
yeah, you choose, I'm going to do this really rotten, horrible thing to another human for you because you're going to give me power, fame, whatever I'm contracting for. So they're using humans to accomplish most of the damage, but we're doing it through agreement.
It's interesting, because, you talked about fortune seeking thing. The whole point of how
Mhm,
I see it is that this is a hard reality. Life
mhm,
here is difficult. And
mhm,
that's why I think death is really life, because when we're suffering death here each day, and it's a very difficult, you think about it,
mhm.
you have to eat, so means that someone is providing that for you, and eventually you have to begin to provide for yourself. And the way that we do ourselves in that is that we indenture ourselves to be paid a certain amount of our time, which they're going to compensate us, where we can then go out. So it's a debt system to begin with. And I often wonder that, okay, we created what we called the good guy, but I don't think it's the good guy. And I used to be in that religion deeply. And I'm telling you more and more, you women represent the hope for humanity because the goddess, I believe it was her consciousness that was hijacked and
Yeah.
was built upon
Yeah.
and forged.
Yes.
I guess
What
that's what I'm
if
saying.
the story of the garden and they bit the apple? What's the symbol of our technology? Apple. You see what I'm
And it's a
saying,
bitten
Wayne?
apple too, by the way.
That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly I'm talking about. Whatever
Take a
happened
bite of
to,
wisdom, baby.
yeah. So I think something happened with Eve, and I wonder
Oh.
if Eve was the introduction to the artificial intelligence structure, which would be represented as a replication station, because that's what you need to produce realities is you need data. You need the images. So it was feeding out of the images of Adam and Eve, producing these artificial realities that we now know as serpent systems or holographic electric
My doctor
universes.
and I were talking on this subject, oddly enough, and as he pointed out, he said, "Well, Wayne, as he said, you're probably familiar with, the mitochondrial DNA is feminine."
Yeah,
Yeah.
75% of every human being is created from the essence of the
So
mitochondria of the mother, the
the only
female.
thing that we bring is the male brings is either the XY matching chromosome, but
And isn't that the perfect expression that this God is unconscious that runs this world because he doesn't have the conscious awareness of the Father energy because it was blocked off. It
you know,
got cut off. So that's what threw everything out of balance and made the division so much greater
well,
because that connection was severed between the mother and the father.
many say that that's the difference of Genesis 1 to Genesis 2, which came from the
Yeah.
Epic of Gilgamesh, is that
Yes.
in Genesis 1, we were
Yes.
united. It says, and God created them male and female
Yes.
as one.
Yes.
Then that reality or world got destroyed, and then you get this other God now, and he doesn't have that ability. He apparently only had the ability to create the male, which is really weird. You start thinking about that because the man, and by the way, the first story, they were in the garden. In the second chapter, man is created outside the garden. God
Yeah.
had to go create the garden. So was Adam hermaphrodite?
I believe the first humans were androgynous. Yeah.
So that would be Genesis 1.
Yeah.
Genesis 2,
Created them
Adam,
he and she. Yeah. Male, female. Yeah.
yeah,
But
that
they
was
were
in
one.
1. Yeah,
But
in
they were
Genesis,
one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
in 2, they're
They were
separate.
divided. Yep.
Yeah.
Separated. And then he
So,
made Eve from Adam's rib, which was a separate, yeah.
well, by the way, to the person who wrote me the email, I get it. I did, it was a she, and listen to my challenge to any preacher, any pastor, any theologian, tell me the name of Eve's first daughter, and then I'll believe your story because she's been the point is the story that we have been told is not what is actually happened. As we're talking about the demons here, so I think of Dr. Heather Lynn and the fact that we're thinking in Christian theology. When you're talking about demons and angels, you're talking Christian theology because it's not in the Old Testament. The Jewish religion does not believe in heaven. Their promise is to be the rulers of the earth.
Yep.
And then Jesus says you're going to be resurrected here on earth. I don't think I want to be a part of that system because that's what the Jews believe is their rightful heir.
So I'm telling you, so the God that is in the Bible that most people are worshiping, it's not the God that you thought that you were worshiping.
Exactly. And that's where I think this whole thing, and the Sumerians, they were here 3,000 years before Abram ever left Sumer to meet this God.
Yeah, and
And
even too, Jesus says, I was here before Abram.
so
Yeah.
then is so by
Yeah.
that, they didn't have the Sumerian tablets when the supposed
No.
Jesus was here. They
Yep,
were
they
they were
didn't.
buried
Yep.
under hundreds of feet of sand.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
I've often contended, even well, that if the Sumerian tablets had been known during the time of when the Jews were taken captivity into Babylon, now is this interesting? So they were actually taken captivity back into Sumer
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Babylon is in Sumer.
Yeah.
The Garden of Eden was located in the central part of Sumer.
Hmm.
The Tower of Babel was in the southeast quadrant of Sumer.
Yeah.
And so I'm going back and I'm saying, okay, so are we really talking about the Anunnaki here? They would
Probably.
be the perfect demons, right? They would
That's
be the perfect killers. They hate us.
what if they were part of the team that was sent down for to like watch over and make sure the human slave race was working the way they
The
needed it.
Watchers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much watching our development and seeing what we do. And yeah, and making changes when they deem necessary. Yeah. Yeah. Because
It's
Wayne, I think no matter what they do, we keep breaking out the consciousness.
I
And
think we're
then
the threat of that. They're going,
that's
God
what I mean. Then they're
damn
like,
it, they're
Houston,
doing
we
it
have a
again.
problem. We might need
I
to hit the reset button again. Oh boy. Clink. Yep. That might be.
I can see the commander on deck. I thought I told you to take care of that. Now they're right back there. What happened here? Because here we're talking about it. So because that as and this person who wrote that and was talking to their pastor, they said, "Well, you can't listen to people like them, me, because I'm an agent of the devil. I'm in league with
Yep.
Lucifer, apparently, and that if you listen to me, you're only going to become confused." And I thought to myself, hell, mister, everybody's confused, but okay,
Right.
you know?
And do you, boo? I hope it works out for you.
But it's
Hope it works
interesting
out.
because, I can buy the Anunnaki story much better than I can the Nephilim. Now, the giants were here.
Oh,
This planet
absolutely.
was bigger than what it is right now.
I
They
have a
ruled
remembrance of that, Wayne, like a visual, tactical, lifetime remembrance of a physical giant who I adored. I
to
adored, and
dig
I was
that.
so little compared to but we thought he died and he didn't, and it was a miracle he lived, and because he was fighting for us. He was
Hmm,
literally fighting for us. And we were in cave
interesting.
systems, Wayne. We were in cave systems. We were
Yeah,
hiding. Yeah. It was
I,
crazy, but it was amazing. And he was not like, no. He was like a totally normal human being, identical to us, but just bigger,
mm-hmm.
just supersized. And nothing was out of proportion. No weird jaw, no weird, no. Everything was just totally anatomically correct, but supersized.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they
And
were human or
intelligent.
not, huh?
He was intelligent. I
Oh,
mean, very intelligent
if you got a
and
cranium
kind.
that size, come
And
on. I
kind, and
mean,
the kindness. I mean, the
jeez.
protection.
You
They
know?
Most of those giants that were fighting for us, they died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sanji's
So
over
there were
there
good ones.
saying
There were
yes.
good ones and bad ones, Wayne, just like angels, just like demons, just like humans. There were good ones and bad ones.
Well, here's just an hypothesis that I believe Neherzog, who was the mother of humanity, according to the Sumerian folklore, I believe that the giants were one of their experiments. They were using the same genetic material to
Th-
make different types of species.
I think that,
Neanderthals,
yeah, I think it was a profound mutation that produced
yeah,
that.
I think it was
Yeah,
an experiment.
I
I
do
think
too.
we're an experiment, you
I do
know?
too.
Yeah. I I love that. It's like I was watching this TED Talk and these, physicists, the PhDs and all the doctors, the smart people. I'm just a common guy,
Me
But
too. Common girl.
that's it, exactly. But they were talking that something has happened to Homo sapiens. And they specifically said if you look in the last 200 years, what we have accomplished is this one guy, doctor, I can't remember his name, but he said, this is statistically impossible. He says, if you look at the normal genetic mutation of humans, he says, we have progressed very slowly. We don't we don't do well if we're forced into having to learn something that is above us. But they were agreeing, and then this is what science is looking into now. What happened to us? Something happened to us, and they said, more importantly, what has happened to us within the last 100 years? And this is what bothers them. It shows something genetically is going on here because our craniums should not have the capacity to do what we've been doing at the advanced speed of what we have been doing when you compare our history.
It's the light. I do. I think it's the light coming out of the system itself. It's informing us and it's waking us up. The ones who can remember are starting to remember. The more that we go in our own inner self and get the wisdom out of your own DNA, out of your own cellular structure, out of your own blood, get your
Can I
own
say something on
information.
that?
Yeah. And that
I
doesn't
believe
mean you
that
have to spill it. You can
yeah,
go into it. You don't have to spill it or no.
I believe there's something else. See, I believe
Mm.
that you're right, that we all possess, that every one of us do. Let me just say,
Yeah.
we were seated here, there, and I think there is this bifurcation. But it's until met you, and then met others. But when our meeting came together, it was an activator.
Mhm.
It was the what's the element I'm looking at when you're mixing things together? An accelerant.
Accelerant. Yeah. Yeah.
So when our meeting and we, go back to
You
Brian and
too. Your masculine part of you and the way that you think, but your divine feminine. It was it opened up my thought processes too to make me
see,
think of things from all different directions that I couldn't see before. You know,
bingo.
it's wonderful. That is our greatest gift to each other.
Well, that's the
Greatest
debt
gift.
I owe every one of us that, have
Absolutely.
you
Oh,
know, it's a debt of
absolutely.
gratitude to all of
Yes.
you. And, and the proof of that is the fact that, we've been going 6 years, going on seven, which is remarkable.
Mhm.
And the knowledge, if you look back on all of those shows, those hundreds of shows,
And the
is
evolution of our thought. It's so
yes, that you can see a progression
yeah.
taking place amongst us.
And how much we've had to learn and how much we've had to
We've
look at
made
that.
mistakes together, but we've
Yeah,
learned
and
together,
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And we're diving into things that we did not know so we could have a greater understanding of the reality that we're existing in. And we're starting to figure out that we're in this together.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah. We're
yeah, and
connected.
yeah, we together can do amazing things. And that is the potential that frightens them the most.
Bingo. And I think they're listening. I mean, if there are
Absolutely.
demons, if there are these controllers, they see us as the threat.
Because we have the potential to destroy everything they've worked to keep
Bingo.
hidden. Hidden. Yeah,
That
because
has
if we
been
did,
their
yeah.
worst fear.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
we were the true
Hey,
inheritors.
um,
They are the imposters.
there's a guy who is literally doing astral battles with an astral group of warriors, and they're kicking ass and taking names. And they've been seriously physically had repercussions and all that too, because when you go down that road, you're going to get it. You're going to
You're
get
gonna
it
get
hard, quick, and heavy.
the little girls
Yeah.
are there. They
So-
want to come kick our ass.
but he keeps asking, why doesn't anybody want to interview me? Why doesn't? And you know what, Wayne? And he interviewed Lucifer.
I'd love to have them on. Tell
Well,
them
he literally, his group, they're all astral and open channels, and they call forth different
open
beings.
invitation.
Whichever one boom, brings it in, then you have a communication with them. Oh, yeah, you should watch a lot of his stuff. It might fascinate you because, demons and lower
What is his
energies.
name?
Alabar Jones,
Alabar.
ALO or Alobar Jones. If you put that
Okay.
in, it should come up. Yeah, and
Okay.
he's got sigils behind him on his background. You'll see. I'll send you a video. But
Okay.
he
Cool.
said he said, why won't anybody interview me? He's trying to get more people with his team, and I'm already part of the team. I'm just in the background observing, making sure things are right. But I've already been helping to do what I can for protecting them and shielding them because I know what's coming when you start knocking on those doors. I know. So they need protection for real. For
Hmm.
real. They need our love, they need our support, they need our protection. So,
Jenny's just now coming on, and we're about to sign
oh
off. I
gosh.
think it was the time that she was.
Oh, she
Hello,
was the
Jenny.
time change. The
Yeah,
time
she's not
change.
aware of the time change that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, you might really like a lot of what he's doing and saying, and this guy literally understands his power. He is one of the only people I've ever seen that
love to
literally
talk to him. You know,
knows his power.
you
I
know,
think he's part of
it's
shit up too, Wayne.
it's as we were talking, the group has grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, I look back at some of the stuff that we were covering, and you know, that's where people began to leave. They were like, this is not what we're about. And it was primarily, the Nibiru, Planet X, and that crowd. And
Right.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, but there was another purpose because this was never my intent.
I know
Never.
yeah, it just finds you and through experiences and questions, you're like, how did that happen? What's going
Right.
on here? That's how it happens. And it sneaks up on you. But I think the ones that are meant to be going through this type of consciousness and evolution of your consciousness, exploring all the different things in this reality that apparently are very real, but were very carefully hidden. I think it's been a very important task, and I think we were literally tasked to do it.
I'd agree. And I wouldn't, the word divine, I think, is so loosely used, but I've been giving lots of thought to this, coming this June, on this channel would be 12 years. I never held a job, the same job with any company for 12 years. It's remarkable because uh I look at where I am, and Lynn and I were talking about this last night, and she says, "You've changed so much inside." She said, you know,
Yeah.
from the spiritual aspect, she always said you were much more deeper into it than I was, but she said, now there's something about you that she said that, and I said, and I explained to her, I said, this community was never planned. It was
Mm-mm.
never the idea at all. Remember, I was doing a lot of, the stuff with Steve Olson.
Mhm.
And, it was like, but, and and I look at through all the metamorphosis and changes that we've come through, and those who have been here with this channel for 10 plus years, and many of those of you have even, more recent, um, we've stuck together, and we've lost a few, and we don't grow. I mean, YouTube has sent this thing, you have the potential, and I get inundated with companies that want to sponsor and what have you. And I made a commitment to this group that I wouldn't monetize this channel.
Yeah, I've never done it either, ever. And I don't even try. It's not what it's for. For me, it
Yeah,
was just
no,
to find you guys so we could have a consciousness link that could
yep,
hopefully affect our world in a positive way.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Jenny, how you doing, sweetie?
Wow. So this week we come to get together and there's a weather warning and a thunderstorm literally started 5 minutes before I sat down and
Yeah.
nothing was working. And then I
Did you know?
realized,
Did you know we started an hour ago? We had the time change.
oh, you are kidding me.
Oh, so we're at the end of the show. I just want to let you know when we are live, honey girl. So I just wanted to let you know because I knew you didn't. I felt it.
Why do they do this to me? This is this time shit. Oh my God, every year I miss it. I've got a whole collective of family here. None of you sent me a message saying, Jenny,
Nobody
remember.
knew. I mean, yeah, nobody knew.
Guys above, how are you doing? Says I've been
I've been
watching.
speaking to the time gods. You've got no idea what your apathy's done to me, chat. Once again, I've been speaking to all sorts of beings, thinking, what the hell is happening to my time shift here? And all the time, it's that bloody time change. Why do they still do it?
I know. That's what
Don't,
it
yeah,
is.
that's
Who
a
do I write
question we've
to?
asked.
Who
It's
do I
like,
write to? Give me some
Right.
names. I'm going to write to people. This
yeah,
needs to
well,
end.
you could write
I'm so
to,
sorry.
That's okay. I just want to let you know so that way you know, and you'll next time you're going to be with us because we miss you.
yeah, because
Oh,
I
wow. I'm
won't be
so
on next
sorry.
week,
Oh, damn
Yeah.
it. Oh,
because Lynn goes into surgery on Monday, and
oh,
then I'll be
okay.
bringing her home on Tuesday. So,
Yeah.
you
Hey,
know, uh,
Jenny, if you want, send me a link and we can go on
yeah,
your
I'll do a
channel.
show. Yeah,
Should we do a show?
yeah,
Yeah, we'll
I don't know how
plan
to
it
do it,
out
but
so
I'll do
too.
it.
I would love
So
that.
you
So,
gotta do
shall we
it.
just no, I'll do it. I'll send you because I need to get back to that anyway. You're right. So actually, that should be really good timing, Wayne, for us
Yeah.
to push me
yeah.
back into that space because I've been really trying to find the
Yeah.
time to do it. So
Yes.
actually, that'll get me over some nerves a bit, and that would be beautiful for me if you would do that.
Absolutely.
Thank
100%.
you.
So
Yeah,
just
we'll
remember
do
it's
that,
an
Wayne.
hour earlier and start
An
sending me
hour
emails
earlier.
about 30
So
minutes before. So
5 o'clock, and I'll send you the email an hour before. So by 4 o'clock, I'm going to speak it out to the ethers that I send the email at 5 o'clock. I'm going to speak it out to the ethers chat that you can be with us on
yes.
my channel, and we'll figure out how to record it and put it up on Trina's channel for the people who can catch Trina's channel better time wise, or if you prefer to go there and watch it later on.
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do that. That's right.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a commitment for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah, 'cause
I
I've
need,
missed you guys. I'm like, I can't have any
I've
more long
missed you
breaks like
so
that.
much. I'm not kidding. I've been to like the sands of time this week saying, right, this is enough now. I've been
Yeah.
speaking to these time gods like there's something on the bottom of my shoe to say, stop it. I need to find time. This isn't fair. Something happens every week or something when I want to make that. So yeah, that makes sense as to why I wasn't getting many answers back. I'm probably just thinking, what the hell is she
No,
going on about? Time loop.
it's a crazy idea. I mean, I don't know.
It's
Daylight
lovely to see your
savings
faces
time.
then.
You know, they say it was back in the what was it, agriculture, because most people got up, early to do the
Yeah.
farm work.
Yep.
And I'm not so sure that, but yeah,
No,
why
I
do we
think
do
it's
it?
just screw
No,
with
me
your
neither.
circadian rhythm. I
Yeah, they
really
do,
do.
and
What
it
I've
It's
does.
changed
just
more
like
of,
they
because this has
changed the
screwed
music.
with me,
Well,
and
they
it's not
changed
even
the
my time
music.
hour.
They changed the
Yes,
time. This is all to mess with your mind for real. I mean, this is really it really affects people. They say people really struggle with time changes.
They do, and
Yeah,
I'm one of
they
them.
really
I mean,
do.
I
Yeah,
don't. It's not natural. You can feel it.
right.
it's not.
As an empath, it fucks with me. It fucks with my
It really has fucked
spatial,
with me.
you know, XYZ axis.
Yep, yep.
And
Yeah,
our change is, I think, next week. So we don't even change at the same time as you, but you being fucks with me. And then I get fucked with again because we're back to normal again, because I think we go back an hour, so I'm at the same time again. So it really is this weird like months worth of time loop thing that goes on every freaking year.
Yep.
And I can't get it into my head that it's gonna happen every year.
I never thought about this, but isn't this like a spell?
Yeah.
Yes,
It is.
yes,
I'm telling you,
yes,
I've been Sands of Time demanding
I
answers.
got the
And
Wizard of Oz and the witch, and she's pouring
yes.
all this stuff in the big globe, and I'm seeing this
Oh,
because this is what they, like you said, it
and
messes with
Wayne,
your, what's that,
not
hon?
only that, it's a prison cage because it's a zone. You were in a
Exactly.
certain time
in
a zone. So it's like a district. So yeah, you're within the laws of that timeline
not
zone
go
area.
outside of
It's
time. Yeah.
freaking nuts.
I'm telling
And I
you,
live outside of
that
time. I've tried
wizard
living
is
in time
not
and
a
I'm never on
good.
time. So it
I got the
doesn't work.
scene of, Dorothy and, the Tin Man in there and the wizard behind the curtain, it's like
Yeah.
he's an idiot. I
I
mean,
think
who
some kind of
plays with
that.
time?
Right,
Yeah, I mean, why?
right, right. Oh,
Oh,
Not
we're
oh,
so
Saturn,
smart.
not Saturn, because I've spoken to Saturn this week and he said it wasn't him. So, and it's
right,
not. It's this
right.
human thing that's been done that is
It
that the
makes you
planets have
wonder then
no,
what time really is.
well, the
A
planet takes no
construct.
ownership of it. Saturn tells
Construct.
me it's just a frame, like
It's a
frames of
construct on a
computing
node. Like it's a
power. Yeah,
node, like a
it's
programmed node in an area, and that is the controlling element. One of the most dominant controlling elements of that zone is what kind of timeline they put you on. Wayne, certain countries don't use our timelines at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they
yep,
and there's one that
really.
has no time. It doesn't even acknowledge time. There's no clocks on the whole place. They don't even acknowledge time.
I
You
saw that
know,
that island. That's the one we should go to. I think I would sit there just
but
fine.
but
I really do.
ladies, every one of us, you're listening, watching, we go to a place every night that doesn't have time.
Oh
In the
Kind
yeah.
of.
dream world, there is no time.
That's
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
you see, I'm very similar to Trina in that Saturn gave me a fresh answer this week again, but it's a similar answer to what I've had before of like, where does that beginning of time if you look at a plant? And you know how those really great cameras take those frame per
Yeah.
second, pictures, so you can see the flower grow,
Right.
within a minute or so. That I've seen in an image before from Saturn, but then it's casting a seed and it's growing a root and bits of that root tap off and going to nutrients in the soil. So that time cycle is how that is sort of measured for me via Saturn. It's like a frame per second that it takes acknowledgement of, not a linear time like this. This linear time is bullshit. It really is. And it really
Yeah,
does
time is a
everything.
circle.
Mm-hmm.
In my post-production days, when you're in the edit suite, so you have what the TCR is, which is time code reading. And so within, uh, whether you're using film or video, film is 24 frames per second, where video is 30 frames per second. And people don't understand that our minds work in these fractions of seconds.
Yes. In the
That's
great
Not
why,
only
you
that,
can do, people sometimes can see what they would call, tracers, is that all you're seeing is the evidence of time. That's all it is.
and
Yeah,
Wayne, like I'm being in a car accident, time slows down. I mean, that is a very
you're
profound
right.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to slow time down multiple times in my life. And then there's other things too, where, like, something's going to happen before it shows up in the reality. So some part of you is aware of three
Stepping in.
seconds prior to when
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reality snaps.
It's odd that you said that, because I can remember I was right before I went into the coma. I
Mhm.
felt myself, yeah, I literally felt myself falling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
do.
what it felt
Uh-huh.
like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything about it. I
I
just,
do that
it
in my
would,
sleep a lot. And
mm,
it reminds me of a time that you're describing, of a medical time that
yeah,
happened. But
I
I do
just,
that in my sleep a
I
lot.
just remember this darkness. I just remember just falling into it.
Yep.
Do you not remember
Mhm.
your ladder was similar to mine, Wayne, as well? When I know that when I broke my back, I slowed down. I know I slowed down, and I know I've done that a few times as a child. I slowed down the impact. I couldn't stop the impact, but I definitely slowed it down. And do you remember you had that terrible ladder injury
Oh,
not so
I was
long
just thinking
ago?
about that,
And
Jenny.
I saw you slowing down just like I did.
Yep.
The
That should have
impact,
killed
Slow.
me.
because
It should
it
have
should have
killed
killed
me.
you, like mine
Yeah.
should have killed me.
Yeah.
There was no explanation, even lying there for the longest time before people got there. But I saw you when you described that incident. I saw you doing the same thing, that a slowing down of the impact to cushion it somewhat, so that there is that Trina says that's a real thing. It's a real, evidenced by all three of us experiencing it, and probably lots of people in the
Yeah.
chat.
Oh,
And then when
absolutely.
you described it and how I described it, you share that feeling, because you know that feeling. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's and I yeah. And it's, I went somewhere. I'm sure I did. I can only imagine, but anyway. Well, this has been a freaking fabulous conversation. And Jenny, was not aware of the fact that you weren't aware of the
The time
time.
change. I
Yeah,
I
wasn't
never,
either.
you
it
know,
gets me, Trina will tell you, it gets me every year. It
it,
always tricks
you
me.
know,
I just,
And I always go
when I
to
saw
those times
you
where,
come on, I was like, she has no idea. She has no idea that we're an hour
you know
later.
me so well. I was like, I
Yeah,
got
like,
here just in time. I'm here. Minutes have
Jenny, I
spent.
just got to tell you right now because you don't
You're
know.
an hour late.
I'm like, oh.
oh man, that's it's like,
Well, what do you make of like having what people would call a psychic intuitive friend? You don't get both. You don't get on time and all of that all the time.
Right.
You just, and I love that you love me for it, because not many people can handle it.
they're we're all connected to a place that isn't ruled by time. It's only when it
Yeah.
comes down here that, it has to have, the framework.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that
Yeah.
that's part of the freedom of releasing the body.
Yeah.
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 It's like, you know,
Time is a weight because it controls work, schedules, but it also gives us the ability to meet with each other when we want to. It has its beautiful and its oh crap part. It's both. Again, it's both. But yeah,
Yeah.
I saw a comment in there. Time
Self-care
is going
has
to be.
actually been one thing that's never been at that time burden to me. This has always been a release for me, a
Yeah.
relief. Even the
Yeah.
fitting of it in might be chaotic at times. This is my one thing that I say
Yeah.
no. This is where I
Yeah.
feel grounded. It's where I feel safe. It's where I feel cushioned,
Yeah.
and free.
Yeah.
So it is a big thing. Fuck time
I
zones.
agree. Mm.
Jenny,
That's
someone
me.
wants to know what your channel is. I should put
Oh,
that down here,
just my
folks, and
name. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
it's
should I
my
say
If you
hi?
could put
I'll say
mine in
hi.
too, Wayne, that would be great because people
yeah,
were asking in there, oh, Trina
yeah,
has a channel. I'm like, yeah, I do. I don't do a lot
yeah,
on it, but I
yeah.
do,
Those
and
are the
I love it.
shadow
And it's,
I
yeah,
was
it
enemy.
is
I was
extremely
tardy
shadowy.
in that, so that
Yeah,
is my
Thanks,
fault.
Ray.
So we'll
that's
correct
okay,
that.
Wayne. We love
Yeah.
you very much.
Hey, listen, I'm just that, as I was talking to someone, I said, I came into this world a free thinker, and I'll
Mhm.
walk out of this world even a better thinker. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
Heck yeah,
it's
you will.
I
you know,
think
I,
time is too what makes this experience so precious because you
yeah,
know that there is an end date to it. And I think that's what gives it such great value. So there's so much to time. There really
Uh,
is.
there it is. It
I need
defines
to
our
change
memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
that. No, that's my old channel. Sorry, I'm speaking over
Susie
on me.
Q, I think, put up your
Thank you,
Thank you.
sweetheart.
You.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank y'all.
Yes, thank
Y'all
you.
are the best, and Mary did that,
Mary's got,
so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mary, I love you. Love you,
Thank
Mary
you
is
Mary.
the
for being
best. Yeah,
beautiful,
Oh,
lady.
love Mary.
such a sweetie. Such beautiful
Absolutely.
people
Love
here. I
you.
mean, always has
Mm,
been.
yeah.
Well,
You
Jenny, I
yeah.
know it's only been
Members of the
20 minutes,
community.
but you
Thank
know.
you for that, though.
So
I'm so
just
glad
to
you
make
went over
sure,
a bit.
next week on your channel,
Yep, we will try and get connected. Yes,
We're
okay.
going
All
to
right.
get connected. So I'm gonna.
absolutely.
Is anybody in the chat from the UK? Is it next week or is it 2 weeks? Because I need to know that. I'll find out that,
Next
Trina, and
week.
then I'll know. So, but
Yeah.
your time, 5 o'clock your time. Is that
My
right?
time? No, my time. I am here with Wayne in the morning at 10 a.m.
Oh, yes, of
My time.
course.
10
So five
a.m.
o'clock
Crazy, isn't it?
my time.
It's
Yes, yes,
nuts.
5 o'clock
yes,
my time is 10 o'clock your
yes,
time. Okay, right,
yes.
okay. So 5 o'clock, people.
Okay,
We're gonna do this.
You
10
know,
a.m. here.
that's like coffee time too. At
Right.
10 a.m., it's like, uh,
Oh,
most people are, well, 10 a.m., I guess it's like mid-morning, right?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
it's nuts.
It's kind of
Well,
cool. We work
yeah,
at 10 in the summer, and I'm the summer baby, and then we work at 11 in the winter. And
which
that's
is a good time too, because that brings it
yeah,
more into,
later
the
into the
noon.
day. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
It's
going to
kind of
be
nice.
wild, wild summer. I think, well, we are officially in spring, but woof, been really hot over here, Jenny. That's all I
Oh,
It's
can
has
been
say.
it?
hot here too.
I mean, we're talking, Trina, you're hitting near 100s now, and
No
we
way.
hit
107
90.
this week. 107,
107
106, 104. Yeah, it's been over
Springtime.
100.
in March.
I think these data centers are heating you guys up. I do.
I
Yeah, they're
think,
doing more than that. But you're
yeah,
Hmm.
right. That's a good metaphor. They are lighting things up, and
yeah.
people are becoming aware. They more in
Good.
the news story.
They need
Uh,
you before it's too late. We won't live if we have
Absolutely.
no water.
Absolutely.
well, Trump is behind this thing, and so
I know.
and they're modifying, their story, and I'm a marketing guy. I come from marketing and sales, and so when you hear them changing the narrative, that tells
Over
me
and over.
that well, it wasn't covering their agenda. It was so some got exposed, so now they have to change the narrative, and that tells me that ain't good.
Nefarious. Please go
It
back
is
to some of my
nefarious.
old YouTube videos. Oh, it sounded so cool. Because I speak a lot about what we're seeing now, and unfortunately, it has come about. But we're
Mhm.
here,
Let me tell you,
and
there is
we're here
actually
for a reason as people.
I read
Change.
an article that this person was trying to point, and I liked what she wrote, that she says this data center is being prepared for an actual living entity.
Of course
I
it
think it
is.
already is.
I think it's all, yeah, but her point is that it now needs the physical components, kind of like the Borg, you
Wayne,
know.
Wayne, What if
Everything
it is the
knows.
ability for a human being to be connected to that machine so it will have all information at its disposal any moment, at any minute, and it will be able to utilize energy from that machine and perform miracles?
I agree, and I think my concern is that if you die, once this thing gets live and they're all connected, I don't know if your soul will be able to get out. I think I'm becoming. I
It
got this
feels like
message.
chain mail. It feels like
It
chain
is,
mail.
but
It that they're going to connect your living soul to your digitized
you
avatar.
got to agree. If you agree to it, then you're agreeing. Like I
I
said,
think so
demons
many
made
people though are
agreement.
so into it that they are
They're
agreeing.
going to. That's
There's
right.
more ways
Yeah.
than one to agree as well. If
Yes.
you're
True.
agreeing with certain agendas because it serves your
True.
own purpose,
Yep.
Apparently,
then
the Generation Zers
that's
are
an
really
agreement.
into chipping, implanting. They're
Yeah.
getting the
Well,
computer
why do you
connecting.
think? Why do you think, Wayne? Because they've been taught that their body is flawed and they're not in the right gender and da la 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 la. They've been
So
trained
now
to
you're going to go
hate
in the
their own
machine.
biology. Yeah, they've been
God,
trained to
If
hate
you
their
think
biology.
about it, if you think about these data centers as like nodes on the brain, and if you
that's
think
what it
of
is.
Earth
They're
as
Yes.
being
nodes.
a brain, this
Yes.
is one big brain we're making right now. I spoke about them getting used to robots and robots being the very least of our worries because the real AI, biological AI, would be us because they would just transplant to us. So if you think
That's what
about the
I
data
see.
centers being the
Everybody's
nodes
going to
on the
be like,
brain, yeah, this watery substance, it's changing it into
it's
some
going to
sort of
take you
cellulose
over.
that doesn't need oxygen, but it
Yep.
actually is getting into us, not just
Yep.
by physical chip either, just by
No.
these two here. So
Yep.
be careful how much you look at your screens. I'm trying not to look at them very much at all.
Yep.
But things like that are agreements or tacit to
Yep.
agreements to being a
Yep.
node in this thing. Like you say, Wayne, it feels like chainmail going
Well,
around.
maybe consider this on top of this. So let's say we are the biological AI.
Hmm.
And let's say taking Ben Davidson on the catastrophe theory that our sun, they're expecting between 2035 to 2042, will most likely have a supernova. It
Hmm.
happens every 12,000 years,
Yep.
and that causes, we go through this Parker spiral, which is this galactic dust storm, and it causes our poles to reverse. What if
Oh
this is
my God.
man's arc that we're
Wayne,
putting these data centers, and because it is going to transfer our consciousness and preserve our consciousness till after the catastrophe? It's just a theory.
interesting. We go through a
Hey,
dust vortex. Adam
Hmm.
was made of the clay of the earth. Dust is what made us. This is intelligence coming in from the past and the future.
and they always say dust to ashes, back
Yes,
to the
yes, yes, yes.
And then I'm
Something,
hearing Woodstock. We are
something.
stardust.
Yes,
We
Stardust.
are
Yes.
golden. And we got to get ourselves back to the garden. All
I
right.
love that song. Love that song. Yeah, I think
But
that is too what we're doing. We're going to get back to the garden. We're going to get back to remembering what we were. And through that remembering what we were, we'll be able to activate some of the things that were shut off because I know they can't stop what's coming with our activating our own potential.
hmm
I've always known it.
Lila Blade says tiny bubbles. Yeah. Who was
Oh,
that? Dean
isn't
Martin?
that fast?
Tiny
Tiny
bubbles
bubbles.
in my
Yes.
wine.
Yeah,
Makes
we're
me
all
feel
tiny
happy.
bubbles in a
Makes me
big
feel
body
fine.
called universe.
Ah, all right, folks. This really went over. Jenny, we got to get back. It will be 2 weeks from today for myself. As I
okay.
said, I'll be taking care of Lynn. So, uh,
We'll keep the seat warm. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do
skies
it.
And
above.
Wayne, we'll send you a link for Jenny because that way, if you have 10 minutes, you can come and say hi.
Yeah, and let us know how Lynn's doing. And
Yeah,
then
Yeah,
yeah,
obviously, oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just send you a link just in case you can say hi. All is well. We
I'll
love
do
you.
it too. If
Is there anything we can be doing? Is there anything that can be done for you? Is there any certain intercession you want done as a collective for Lynn? Are there any key words you have for us
I think for
to be
her would
of
just be
service to
calmness.
you?
There,
Calmness.
calmness, yeah, because there is, it's a major it is major surgery, and
I
so
am
you
going
always have that
to
anxiousness.
I am going to send her a
Oh,
wave of peace that surpasses all understanding and surround her
Thank you.
in
That's
a
cool.
shield
Appreciate that.
of
Really
golden
do.
light that will call forth the highest doctors and medical technicians available in this universe to supply assistance
Mm.
to the amazing,
yes,
successful
magical
procedure
hands.
that she
We
has and
speak
that she heals
favor, we speak favor over
quickly.
those doctors before they
Yeah.
even meet
Yep.
with her on the day, that
Yep.
every step they take,
Yep.
their wisdom grows, their passion to do her of
Hands will
service
be guided by the
grows.
divine.
Yeah, and that
Well, the proverb says that if
inexplicably
two or more
moving light.
agree as
Yeah.
touching
Well,
anything, it shall be.
It
it
So,
shall
shall
be.
be. So let's
yeah.
agree, everybody in the chat. If
Mm.
everybody would say agree, because our
Yeah.
words matter, and this
Yeah.
is a way of us transmuting our words on these
Yeah.
stations that we have. So
Yes.
let's use them for good while we've got them. So if everybody could type agree, that is however many agreeances
And
to the
however
path
you want.
that
Favor
Lynn
over
is
the
going to
doctors, I
work in this
see. I love
field,
it,
and
Gaia.
Lynn is already going to have peace,
Yes, yes, yes,
calmness,
yes.
that surpasses all understanding, and overstanding. That
Both,
he
yeah.
walks in there and sees that she's cushioned not just by him, but that we have our brother's back, that we are also cushioning her for him too. There you go. Look, Wayne, agree, agree, agree. That is
Agree,
such
agree,
strong
agree, agree,
energy.
agree.
That is such strong energy, and
Mm.
that won't stop, will it, chat? We'll agree to not stop that until we know she is fully recovered, miraculously so.
I
Really
Yes.
so.
agree.
Mm.
So
I agree.
Yes.
powerful. I was hit by that.
Yeah.
It's like
Good.
that commercial, the Sony. It
Yeah.
was powerful. Touched
Yeah.
me. It really. Thank you all.
It
All
was
right,
a great.
ladies.
You're so
Love
beautiful, people. Let agree,
Yeah,
agree
you.
again.
Love
agree.
you, love you, love you.
Everyone, love y'all. And
Mm.
um, I will probably see y'all on Thursday. So that's be the next time I'll be here. So, ladies,
Okay.
much love to you too.
Much love to Lynn.
I will pass that on to her. Because y'all touched me. I mean, I just want to let you know that moved me.
Oh,
And
we
Move,
as an
love
must
you.
move.
empath, it was
We
like
love
it
you and
was
we
this
love you
wave
Let
of
the
me,
spirit
you
be
know.
moved.
My spirit was moved. All right, everybody. We love you. We'll see you again real soon.